Hey everyone, a bit of a last minute announcement here, but finally, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a meetup. We're going to meet on December 6th. That's a Saturday, 7 p.m. at The Warehouse on Charing Croom Road. Really cool little place. I like going down there. I'm not sure what to expect. Like I said, it's kind of short notice and we didn't do a ton of groundwork on this one, but we figured the year's almost over and it's time for anyone who's free to come down and hang out, meet each other, meet me, meet Ed. Let's get together, have a couple of beers, and chill out. So check our Facebook page before you come. If you hear this, check our Facebook page first because we'll put any last-minute details there. But December 6th, Saturday at the Warehouse on Charing Croom Road. Come on down. On part 2 of 2, we sit down with former FBI agent John Schachnovsky to talk about his time as the top G-man in Thailand.
So if you've ever wondered what it's like fighting terrorism, narcotics, and online crime in Southeast Asia, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee Krap, this is the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 after running afoul of Big Poutine because I sold the secret cheese curd recipe to the mob.
Big Poutine. That almost sounds like it could be a good name for maybe a punk rock band. Big Poutine.
Big Poutine. Well, there's Big Audio Dynamite. There's Big Sugar.
There you
Why
go.
not? Big Poutine. Yeah.
And I met Knut, an American who came to Thailand on a 1-year teaching contract 25 years ago. Fell in love with the realization that I'd been setting my air conditioner to 75 degrees Fahrenheit for years, thinking that it was cool, so I never left.
Little asterisk there.
Yeah, that's kind of an American insider thing. But I still think in American. So I think in terms of Fahrenheit, pounds, dollars, I just do. And I'm not making this up. I was setting my air conditioner to 24 degrees Celsius. But I didn't know, I'm horrible at the conversion. And so I just thought I was setting my air conditioner to like 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes sense like in the US. But actually, I realized I've been setting it to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which in Thailand, that's actually cool. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like 24 degrees is actually cool.
Yeah, my air conditioner set at 20, usually 24 or 22 if I want to get saucy.
Right. And I thought it was much cooler than it was, but it's everything's relative. You know, so when outside it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit, like, so whatever that would be for you guys, I don't know. But then I come inside and I set my aircon to 75 degrees. It feels cool, really cool.
It's funny. You might as well be like Charlie Brown's teacher from the cartoons, where he's talking to the teacher, and all you hear is wah, 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 wah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So now I know how Americans feel when the rest of the world talks together about this. Every once in a while, I expect you to drop I get 40 rods to the hog's head, and I'm.
That's so funny.
It's for the Simpsons reference there. Deep cut for our pal Scott.
Well, I've got no defense. All right, I want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get every episode a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads-up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted about the salacious stories behind some famous 70s rock stars, the 3rd anniversary of Greg's application for Thai citizenship, and the question of how much longer it will take until the next step, and some discussions about some drama at my workplace and the role that long-term employment in Thailand plays in shaping your perception of yourself and others' perception of you. To learn how to become a patron and get all this good stuff, plus full access to over 800 bonus and regular back episodes, click the support button at the top of our website.
Booyah! And before we get started, I want to do a bit of a soft open here, and I thought this story was very funny and worth telling. Now, one of our listeners, I will keep him anonymous. Let's call him Chad.
Okay.
And I've had dinner and coffee with Chad a few times. Lovely guy, and always nice when he's in town. But he sent me in a message the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. I LOL'd as I was reading it, so I thought I would read it here, and I got his permission to do this. So his message reads thusly. Well, it finally happened to me. I was invited to go dancing with friends. We went to Folk Pranakon Ratcheta, Bangkok. Too loud, too much alcohol, so very Thai. Which is fine, but so loud. Then I went to use the urinal, and before you can say Bob's your uncle, I have two young men giving me the full upright massage treatment. Head, neck, shoulders, back, legs, warm towel to the neck, everything. Which I am open to new cultural experiences, but I had an issue. I am 66 years old and my prostate doesn't always cooperate when I'm trying to establish a decent stream, so as not to just dribble all over myself. So I'm standing there trying to relax and get things flowing when the Chuckle Brothers are all over me, pushing and prodding. Felt like I was trying to use the urinal during an earthquake. And these two are giving me the "you are the only Farang we have seen all night" treatment. We got through it together, but it was not the relaxing experience I'm sure they had planned for me. So I guess I earned that merit badge. When I went back later for round 2, I let them know I would handle the job myself this time. They seemed a bit put off, but I do appreciate their enthusiasm. That will be a fun story to relate when I get back to work.
That is classic. That is a definite merit badge.
Yeah, totally.
Well earned.
Just leave me alone.
It's so
touching
awkward.
Me.
It's so awkward at that time. That's
right.
It's super awkward.
That's right. And also, I have to do a bit of a corrections department here. On last week's episode, which was part 1 of our interview with John Schachnovsky, at the end of the episode, I mentioned that the book launch would be held at the Foreign Correspondents Club on December 13th. That is incorrect. Disregard all that information. The correct information is this. There will be a launch of the book at Asia Books in Central World on December 13th, which I'm going to be at.
Cool.
And I think you said you're going to try and be there too.
Cool.
And then the FCC event will be held on the 21st of January, 2026.
Oh, gotcha.
So December 13th at Central World Asia Books, 21st of January, Foreign Correspondents Club. Those are the dates.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of which, on part 2 of a 2-part episode, we sit down with a fellow by the name of John Schachnovsky. Now, John served over 20 years with the FBI, tackling terrorism, narcotics, organized crime, and white-collar crime in the U.S. and Asia. In 2008, he relocated to Bangkok to run the FBI office overseeing investigations in Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. Now retired, John has a new book coming out this December, as I just mentioned, called Beyond the Badge, which tells his story. Reading from the cover, Beyond the Badge is more than just a chronicle of international crime and counterterrorism. It is a personal reflection on what it means to serve a mission in a foreign land, to balance diplomacy with duty, cultural understanding with tactical resolve, and personal sacrifice with professional honor. We got a lot of great feedback on episode 1. It was a really interesting conversation with John. So here is part 2 of our sit down with John Schachnovsky.
I have a question about just in general your responsibilities here, or kind of like your brief. So in general, if an American citizen is here and they break Thai laws, that was not your thing. So you're not, a lot of times when Americans get in trouble overseas, they go to the embassy for help, but that's not what you were doing. You're not here to save an idiot Farang who gets into trouble per se.
I tried when I was the number 2 here, my first tour here, and I was the number 1, the head of the office, my second. So I tried to not do that. I tried to help. So we would get calls all the time in the embassy from somebody asking for the FBI. And a lot of times it was, this is just not what we do. But I really didn't like, because I would always think, what if it was me in another country, I needed help. So I did the best I could. Luckily it wasn't every day, but once a week we would get a call from someone and I would say, this is who you want to call. And I know, unfortunately, there's probably FBI agents in other countries who would say, yeah, call American Citizen Services. They're here for you, whatever, or call 191 for the police, or go. But I really, really tried. Unfortunately, one thing about any society is just people are crazy. So you have a lot of phone calls where,
Sure.
they're off their meds and they want the FBI to
Sure.
take whatever chip is in their head out of their head.
Right.
Those are the ones I kind of had to hang up on or something. But for the most part, it was an American citizen who just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
5 minutes on the phone with them, I would do it and help them out. But no, my job was not to help the American citizen getting in trouble. It was, as I began by saying, the first was leads from the U.S. The second thing would be The second job we did was we open a case here. The third would be if the Thais need assistance. So the FBI lab is a very good lab, one of the best forensic labs in the world. We have lots of technology that Thais are getting more and more now, but when I first got here, they needed assistance. So the Thais would call me or the FBI and say, look, we need help with this case. It isn't an FBI case. A car accident happened where a politician died, and we have a license plate that we just can't get on the CCTV.
Enhance.
Can the FBI lab enhance it?
So, so even if no American was involved, you would just give help as like a fraternity, the Fraternal Order of Police kind of thing.
Even more than that, the FBI has codes for all of our cases, and there's actually a code for foreign police cooperation matter, which means you can't put it to an FBI charge, but the cops in the foreign country ask for your help, and we will always say yes. Which, it goes to my number one job. I mean, would be if a terrorist attack happens in Thailand and many Americans died, I have to be the FBI director. My job is that the director calls me and says, John, there's 30 FBI agents on a plane landing to this terrorist attack in 20 hours. They better have visas and access. So my job is to go to the Thai police and get access for certain things. So that's not, I always want to help, but the Thai police ask for my help. I say yes, because when I ask for their help, they say yes. So yes,
right. Makes sense.
Fraternal back and forth. So I mean, in my book, what you'll see in my book is 11 or so chapters or 10 chapters of different cases I worked. Most of the cases that are in the book are cases where the Thai police asked for my help. It might not have been an
American legal
issue. It was them asking for help on some terrorist attacks or I mean, the fugitive chapter is all American. So we chase down a lot of American fugitives that come here and hide. That's my cases. But, the first chapter, second chapter is the actor David Carradine, when he was found dead in a hotel room here. It wasn't even a murder. It was an accidental death by autoerotic asphyxiation.
Depends who you talk to.
Apparently.
Yeah. So that's the one guy you want to talk to was me, because it was my case.
What's your case? What's your case?
Yeah, so there was that case. I can give a little taste from the book. That case was his family went on CNN after they found the body, and they were, they didn't know much about Thailand. They gave the whole, it's a banana republic and who knows what's going to go on there, and we don't trust it. And he was what happened. So then they really quickly publicly asked for FBI help. So they called our office, and I was within 48 hours, 24 hours. I was in his hotel room. Only thing out of the room was the body. Everything else was there. His money was still there. Everything was there. The accoutrements that he used to do what he did were still there.
So you thought the evidence was clear?
Not just that. I had I had CCTV of his door, and the only person to come in and out of his door was him.
Gotcha.
So there's not even a question.
Not the secret ladyboy that some people think came in and out.
He had so much cash still sitting there. If he was robbed, there was so much money there.
Right.
In the book I go over is really in depth on what we saw, what we did. Nobody signed in to his room. The only person that entered the room was the maid the next morning. So no, and look, and he had a documented history, to include one of his wives divorcing him for this specific thing he did.
Oh, really? Okay,
so
gotcha.
There's no this is the ambiguity in the press nowadays. You can do this is one of those conspiracy theories. Not happening.
Him and Michael Hutchins. I mean, there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your role in correcting misinformation and stereotypes? And I guess, like you said, they said it was a banana republic, and like a lot of people in the U.S. or other places might not understand how things work in Thailand, or they might have a limited view of how things actually are here.
Yeah. Is there a PR job? Do you guys issue statements explaining what's going on in Thailand?
No, I mean, I think it's a great question. The cases I worked are that statement. So getting it done. So a case opening and not closing, well, you couldn't do it because you're in Thailand. But being able to close big cases, the David Carradine case is a good example, to be able to go back to the FBI and say, here, you can tell the family, I did this, this, and this. The Thai police did this and this is the answer they wanted, and this is all the information they needed. So to show that we can get the job done here, it is definitely not my job to say Thailand. I would never go I would say I would never go on, but if you Google my name and you go on YouTube, the FBI flew out here a number of years ago, and they discussed child exploitation matters. And we did kind of I don't want to PR puff piece, but the FBI put it out on the FBI website about us, FBI, Homeland Security, and the Thai police working child exploitation matters. And a lot of that was saying the Thai police have done they did pretty much a 180 on their investigating on those matters. What I mean by that is when I first arrived here in 2008, if we had a child exploitation matter, somebody from a man from America coming here to abuse Thai kids, and we had enough information to arrest them, 100%, we would fly them back to America to charge them there. We wouldn't trust it would be charged here correctly. Evidence collection, we're not sure about. Now, today, it's the opposite. We will always charge it here.
Interesting.
The Thai government did such an amazing job of capacity building, learning, getting the law changed here for many different things. So now we charge that here. So, we do the best we can. I think that, my opinion, hopefully the cases speak for themselves. The fact that the FBI is a partner with them. I mean, the FBI is not going to partner with just anybody we find them to partner with. It's a great question. I mean, maybe looking back, I've been gone about 5 years now. So that might be a good idea to try and do some kind of PR push when there is this information. But both of you know, looking at the States today,
misinformation is everywhere.
Misinformation is industry standard now.
It's
so I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it.
I got a question. So obviously David Carradine is a famous person, but are there a lot of like big cases of hardcore criminals, like like the murderer on the lam hiding in Thailand? Did you deal with cases like that where you captured some guy, like a refugee from the U.S. who committed some horrible crime in the U.S.?
Sure. Yeah, we have. Yeah, I mean, fugitive. I had a couple of fugitive cases, some gangsters, some an Irish gangster out here. So many.
A lot of people come to hide here, I think.
It's 100%. It's, once again, the argument of you get to come to Thailand if you have a certain passport. Come to Thailand and you get the stamp in your passport, and you guys know this. No one's really looking for you. There isn't this. If you are an overstay, and you get caught doing something, they then see the overstay. They're not looking for people.
It's not proactive.
No, it's not proactive on that. So, and if you go to Pattaya or you go to Chiang Mai or Phuket, there are more white faces than there are Thai faces.
Wait, wasn't there a pretty big terrorist caught in Ayutthaya?
Yeah, he was one of the 9/11 guys. He was
Hambali. He was not caught there. He was brought there for some questioning.
Oh, was that right?
My agency wasn't involved in that, so
okay. But I just remember the connection.
Had the CIA on the podcast talking about that, but they've had some very
So there are people on the lam in Thailand. That's not a myth.
Right as we speak, there's guys sitting in Pattaya on a bar stool who are wanted somewhere. There is no question about that. It is not just America. It is so easy to come here, and stay as long as you keep your nose clean.
Right.
And you just get your apartment, and you're not going to go to you can go to some small village somewhere. We caught a guy a number of years ago who was in a small village, and we kind of talked to him afterward and said, why did you go to a town? You're the only white guy.
That's right.
So, he said, well, I thought hiding in the, whatever, maybe you saw too many movies where hiding in the jungle, but most of the time it is
just go to Pattaya.
Go to Chiang Mai, go to Phuket, go to Samui, there's everywhere. And as long as you can get your immigration thing taken care of, where you don't cause a problem, you can live here. There was a thing that happened a number of years ago. It wasn't an American. I think it might have been a Canadian or a Brit. I think it was a Brit who he was caught. He'd been here for wanted for 60 years.
Oh, wow.
Like 60 years, for a long, long time. I don't want to get the facts wrong, but for a very long time. And eventually he made a little slip up and he got caught. But it's really, really easy to come here and hide. And it is we asked in the beginning of the podcast, is there a certain crime type that we see a lot? I would say that there's always some fugitive case. If we have 10 cases, there's always 1 or 2 fugitive cases.
Now, I wonder if, to get into your methods, I mean, now with facial recognition, it's probably easy for you guys to track these guys down. I mean, I know that, isn't London famous for having 1 million cameras? I wonder if the Thai government's going to catch up, because, if they had facial recognition, I think they would start catching a lot of dudes like in Pattaya.
Sure.
They've already caught up on CCTV. There's CCTV everywhere here, but using that for the purpose of facial recognition. Yeah. I mean, it is with the prevalence of AI and facial recognition software, it's going to really assist. But that being said, remember, whenever there is a new law enforcement tool, the criminals are always one step ahead. So there will definitely be
a counter
facial recognition software, you name it. When I'm coming across the border or whatever, there's going to be some.
This also is like a plastic surgery capital of the world, so you could probably come here.
There is that as well, but you got to get in first.
That's right.
But no, there and there's ways to cross the border. Look, you and I, we know that Sawanaboom is advanced, but if you're really smart about it, you come across any one of the borders that doesn't have.
Oh my God! Yeah.
You go to the border with Cambodia or Myanmar or whatever. They don't have the same type of, and that's not going to come for a while. So, Suwanabun will be good, and they'll catch as I say a lot of times in the FBI, we definitely catch the dumb ones.
Right. So maybe we should talk about the book.
Yeah. Talk about the book a little
so the book came about. So not 9/11, geez, COVID, two major events in my life. COVID hit, and before I retired, I would always tell my stories to expat friends and my son's parents, my son's school, and they would always say, "These stories are so cool. You should write a book." And I said, I should. Maybe when I first said, yeah, right, like I can write a book. So then when COVID hit and we were stuck inside, I started writing, and it was a slow roll. So I did a little research and found some assistance with the writing a little bit here, mostly just kind of getting me off the ground and kind of helping me figure out how to write it. But then once I started rolling it kind of went pretty quick. So it took about a year to write it. And then the best part about the book for me was, as I think we started saying at the beginning of the podcast, is why did I do the book? Number one is for sure to show people what the FBI does overseas. Everybody knows the FBI in America, what we do. There's 14,000 approximately FBI agents. Only a couple of hundred are overseas. So most of the FBI mission, I mean, it's fun to talk about what we do. Still, the FBI is an American law enforcement agency in America. But I wanted people to see what we do. There's so little done. We joke around. There's Mission Impossible, there's Ethan Hunt, and there's Jason Bourne, and these movies, but there really isn't much. I think there's a TV show in America now called FBI International where they do a little bit about it, but I think I spent most of my career overseas now, so I wanted to kind of put a spotlight on that.
I didn't know the FBI was here.
Right?
Did you? I didn't know that.
Most people don't. I get that all the time. Why are you here? So I wanted to do that. And also, to go back to what we said, I wanted to show the Thai cops in a good light. I wanted to say that my time here with the FBI, I only have good things to say about what the Thai police that I work with. And I just think, you watched enough TV shows here, and they're always the butt of jokes, or they're the corrupt one. So that was kind of the number two reason why I wanted to do it. And number three is my son, who's now 19 and in college in America, his formative years, when the years that I was kind of the boss here, he was too young. So you'd ask my son, and I have a desk at the embassy, and he would come to my office. When he would come in for whatever day, he'd see me behind the desk, and he'd say to people, my dad's behind a desk all day. And I had to tell him,
oh, funny.
Cole, you don't understand. Like I'm behind it because you're here at work. You're at work today. But normally every one of your friends thinks it's the coolest thing to have an FBI agent, but he was the one, he kept me so grounded of, Dad, just come on.
You're nobody. You're just my dad.
He kept me so grounded. So I wanted him to read the stories that he actually missed.
So funny.
The three reasons I wrote it. So I wrote it, and people have always asked me, I'm sure a question you might have is, does the FBI have to approve your book? And the answer is yes. I have to send it to the FBI to make sure that I'm not speaking out of turn here. So I knew before I wrote it, there's some requirements to write a book if you're an FBI agent or any agency. Number one, you can't discuss top secret information, which I didn't do. You can't discuss open cases. I've been retired long enough. My cases are all closed. And the big one is sources and methods, like how we do things. Are we using any kind of high tech gear we can't talk about? So I knew that going in, but it was still about a 6-month process where the FBI.
Oh, it had to be screened.
Oh, they had to read. Yeah, there's an office at the FBI called pre-publication review where they go over scripts, books,
oh wow,
anything before you can kind of talk about it, write about it. So it took about 6 months, and for my benefit, I really knew what they were not going to approve. So they made one small change, which wasn't a big deal. And to the FBI's credit, which I don't always do, the person who reviewed my book not only crossed it off, but said, "Hey, try writing it this way," which is very nice of them. So
right.
Yeah, so one section, and then the second thing is, the book launch is going to be December 13th at Asia Books, and Asia Books wanted to review it and make sure on the Thai side that I wasn't talking about anything I can't talk about in Thailand.
Did the Thai authorities want to review it, or just Asia Books?
I mean, I didn't run it by the Thai authorities, so I don't know.
Okay.
Asia Books, I think, is high. They have enough people at the highest levels of Asia Books, and the CEO of Asia Books kind of thing wanted to make sure it was okay. I think if I got it from, and honestly, I didn't discuss. There's one section I discussed the red and yellow shirt problem a number of years ago. I don't pick sides. I just discussed it was happening.
Right.
Other than that, there's no concern.
Plus, you have a positive take on the Thai police, so it sounds like the Thai government should support your book.
Yeah,
this should be in the movie theaters. No, I'm just
they should be pimping your book.
Right, that's why I keep saying the same thing. When I first wrote the book, I asked a Thai police general friend of mine, "Can I do the book launch at police headquarters?" He said, "Absolutely. It's very positive on the Thai police." And that's when I was told, well, you may want to go to like Asia Books because they really may want to push it. And when they said yes to it, I went to Asia Books very, very, I didn't know anything. My friend never wrote a book before and said, "I'm not sure if this is the kind of thing you want to publicized. And what Asia Books told me was, John, you have to understand something. The two major types of books that we have at Asia Books are, the Ayutthaya period from 1845 to 1846 from a professor, and that's fine, but not that's selling that much. And you also have the person who says how to find girls in Thailand and is it a lady boy kind of thing. So having a book of like this, we don't have much of this. So they really, really were excited to have my book, which I was honored when they said that. So they've only been Asia Books has been great about it.
Don't forget the King Naresawan section, which says
right.
how awesome
right.
he was.
That's right. Right.
I want to read it. It sounds cool.
Well, yeah, hopefully you will.
I want to. We were talking briefly when we were talking on email before we met. Years ago, I wrote a story on another FBI agent a woman who opened a Vietnamese restaurant in Bangkok here, and you knew her as well. The restaurant was on Thong Lo. It was called Suan Mai, and it was really, really good. But she was, I think, her story was incredible. She was her father was a military officer in the South Vietnamese army, and they escaped on the evacuation when South Vietnam fell. And she became like one of the first immigrants in the FBI or something like that.
Mae Young Robeson. She's really, I mean, I haven't seen her in years, but when I first arrived, she'd retired and she had her restaurant, her Vietnamese restaurant. And I think it was my 40th birthday party. We had it at her restaurant.
Oh,
she's
cool.
nothing but nice.
So essentially, she became a Vietnamese American and then joined the FBI.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Vietnamese American joined the FBI, and she was actually, I mean, she was a beauty queen. She was like Miss Saigon one year.
Yes.
Really, I mean, really, really.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know where she is today. I'd heard she was still here. I mean, maybe she'll hear your podcast and email or something. But yeah, she was one of the first FBI agents in Thailand. Was stationed here.
We got to get her on the show.
Yeah.
I would love to. She was lovely. I went to a restaurant and we had a long conversation. I wrote a story for Big Chili, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
This was like before the podcast, so it was 16, 17 years ago. But in her restaurant, she had pictures on the wall, like all these busts, big suitcases full of money and stuff like this.
Yeah, she had like definitely. She was definitely when she opened the restaurant, the whole FBI agent to chef kind of thing. The whole it was really it was a great restaurant. It was just sad to see it go. It was one of the better Vietnamese restaurants in Thailand. Yeah.
It's kind of cool that the FBI. I mean, I guess it's an American thing. We are the land of the free. It's kind of cool that you can write a book about this. Granted, it needed approval. But as long as it's approved, it's like it was your life. It's your right to tell your life story.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I agree. I haven't thought about it that way. Where I'm sure some countries are just like, you can't talk about your career in any way at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think there is a segment of the FBI books that are being written that are probably negative, and the FBI kind of has to. It's a delicate dance. They can't just free speech. They can't say no, but they are a little more hard pressed to cut some things. I mean, not that every day of my FBI career was amazing, but I loved the job and I loved my time in Thailand. So it is, I hate to use this cheesy term, but it's kind of a love letter to the FBI and Thailand. It's very positive on my time in both places. And
cool.
so that's why I'm proud of it. And I do believe that for me, anybody who has heard I'm writing it, it's like, I really want to read it because, as you said before, you didn't know the FBI was here. So it's not a matter of learning, hey, I kind of knew about this. Some people have no idea. So that's
I just kind of assume that a lot of Americans I meet that have any vague adjacent connection to the embassy are spies. Like, oh yeah, I'm an accountant. I'm like, oh really? Are you really?
1970s and 80s, you were probably right.
Was the FBI ever down on Pat Pong?
No.
That was the CIA,
was
like
CIA.
in the 60s.
No, we came much later.
Okay.
So FBI, our office opened like 25, 30 years ago. So we were. It's kind of a newer office. It's one of the first offices, but it's one of the newer. FBI is, like I said, after World War II, there was a bunch of offices that opened, but Bangkok was much later.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like maybe late 80s, early 90s. I think.
So the CIA was here, but they were doing real cloak and dagger stuff.
Yeah.
No comment.
Well, I think this interview, it actually fits perfectly for the podcast because, all we try to do is just tell the truth about Thailand. So we try not to sugarcoat things or become like an apologist, but we don't want to be like bitching and moaning and everyone knows there's kind of a dark side of Thailand, but actually what you're doing is you're saying, okay, like my job was dealing with the dark side, but in a way it's a positive story.
Right.
Like you're not saying, okay, this place is a nightmare.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I look at part of my job also is that if I can help fix the nightmare a little bit too. So obviously I had tons and tons of many cases here. And, when I first arrived many years ago, there was a major problem of men coming here to abuse Thai kids. It is not just the FBI, Australian Federal Police, Homeland Security, every agency you can imagine in working with the Thai police, changing some of the laws, investigating. Of course, there are still men here doing that, but the numbers have dropped significantly. The TIP report every year comes out, trafficking and persons report comes out every year, and Thailand's always hovering between tier two watch lists and all. But for a long time, one of the downsides they had was the child exploitation matter. Now, my job is not to investigate the shipping boats and other things. The Rohingya wasn't my job. So those are still knocks on Thailand every year. But the child exploitation, it's improved more and more. And I would argue that one of the reasons why a number of years ago they went up from tier two watch list to tier two is the work of the Thai police and us as their partners in stopping that. So, I believe that's one thing that we've seen that's changed since I've been here. A lot of the improvements. So, there's still many, many problems here, but everyone always talks about how much Thailand's changed since you've been here, all the high rises and the
Right.
marijuana laws and all. But as a law enforcement officer, I've seen so much positivity on the Thai police. They're much, much more technologically savvy. I mean, what you do with just immigration alone, you go to the airport, your face, your finger,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
that's even better. But think about that across the board. Their ability to use DNA for invest. They never use DNA.
So
Now
the
there's
rule of law is getting stronger.
it is getting stronger, and Thailand's wants to improve. In areas that we work with them as partners in every facet. We can give you a today example. The call center scams are a huge problem. But as of today, many countries, to include the U.S., have brought full-time agents to station here.
They're cracking down.
Only work on those.
Really?
So if a crime happens now, you can usually rest assured that not just Thailand, but the world's going to try and respond and put bodies there to try and enforce it. It's a very difficult crime type. To see a crime where there are victims all over the world, you have across the border into a third country like Myanmar, where maybe the law enforcement there isn't as good. You got criminals from China who are locked in monetarily. To Thai police, it's a difficult job to investigate that.
It's a weird problem because the workers in the scam centers are victims themselves.
Correct.
It's a weird problem.
It's very, very, it's one of the hardest crime types to look at. And to add to all of that, many times an economic, we call it white collar crime in America, but they call it economic crime here, an economic crime where there isn't death and destruction and terrorism. It's also hard to kind of push it. People are losing money. Well, at the end of the day, you fell for the scam. And that's always, why are we putting so much money into they fell for the scam? That's always a difficult thing to argue and say, well, there's much, much more to it. And now, as you said, there are people being held at knife or gunpoint to make those phone calls. So you have human trafficking mixed with white collar crime, mixed with multiple different, and there's violence happening now to keep those people there. So
Right.
it's a difficult, but to see that happening, and it's been going on for a couple of years now, but to see the response by the world on this crime type is pretty impressive. And Thailand is doing, I think, today as much as they can. It's getting, the problem with this kind of crime type is if they close down that small town in Myanmar they built up on this
Right.
scam, close it down. There's so many other countries, borders, Cambodia, you name it, where it can happen. It's one of the hardest crime types to fight. We've been happening for years. They used to be called, they've had boiler rooms with stock, and they had those in Thailand. They had those when I first moved here.
Oh, no, we remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are now those are the scam centers.
Yeah. Right.
It's tough.
Before we go, as we're wrapping up here, I want to talk about some more serious things. One of the episodes we did a while ago, which I thought was really interesting, was the attempted probable bombing of the Israeli embassy back in the 90s, which didn't happen because there was a car accident and the motorcycle guys actually chased the truck driver down, and they found that there was a big bomb inside. Then there's the Erewhon Shrine bombing, which unfortunately did happen. So when you have like a really serious global event like that, it's the stuff that makes the headlines around the world. What's the FBI's response to those kind of things, and what jurisdiction do you have? And I assume the response is much more focused and much more serious.
Yes, it would be. The Erewhon Shrine, which is in my book as well, is a good example of when the bombing happens, that we are going to assist as much as the Thai police ask us. And at the start, we're going to try and get as involved as we can because we don't know who the victims are. If an American is injured or killed, or American property is damaged due to a terrorist attack, we have the extraterritorial authority to open a case and work a case and charge in America. So until we saw that, shockingly, of the 20 or so that were killed and the 100 that were injured, was no Americans, not even dual sits, which was really surprising.
Oh, wow.
But once that happened, we realized it wasn't our case. Then it was, we're here to help. What do you need? And as I mentioned in the book, we assisted with some of the translations of some of the Uyghur materials that were found at sites. And there was some assistance at the hotel the first couple of days that there was assistance with some of the forensic evidence that they needed help with. But really, if an American is injured or killed, like the Mumbai attacks that happened in India a number of years ago, that's a good example where there were Americans killed. And that is we are going to send FBI agents. They're going to assist. And it's my job as a legal attaché to not ask. At that point, we aren't asking anymore. I am telling them, if I've ever assisted you or ever assist in the future, I have a team of FBI agents come here and you must give them access. And it's always a yes. In some countries, I'm not sure if it happened in China, what would happen now, or Russia, you name it. But in the countries that I know right now, we've worked with, it's always a yes. So yes, it is a full court press. And even though there wasn't any American injured or killed, I was still on every 3-hour phone call with headquarters to update them.
Every 3 hours.
Every 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. But the reason for that is, and this is kind of an interesting situation, is that 99% of a terrorist attack happening in the world is going to be done by a group that we're worried about also. This goes back to the intel gathering, where the U.S. is worried about it. It may not have been an issue where an American's injured or killed, but we want the intel. What did they do? How did they do the bombing? What did they do to get in the country? Are we learning any new techniques that the bad guys are using? What was it forensic? What was the bomb made out of? Is that new? What's so interesting about the Erewhon Tron bombing is it was done by Uyghurs. And at the time this happened, that might be the one group that really wasn't on our radar screen.
Right.
They weren't threatening America.
It was very unknown back then.
And they weren't threatening America. There are issues with the Chinese government and that kind of thing. So, and the reasoning behind why they bombed Thailand had nothing to do with America at all. So that is kind of an outlier, because what I would tell you, your question of, if a terrorist attack happens in the world, we are going to care from the minute it happens for multiple reasons if Americans are injured or killed. But the intelligence gathering is huge, because any terrorist attack, it could be a new technique. It could be a new technique in how they got in the country illegally, or how they snuck in the country, who they met with on their phones, how they're communicating. Is there a new app where they're talking encrypted? Like all these possible things that we need to learn about. So, which we still did. And we still wanted to learn about it. And I still assisted after the Erewhon Shrine bombing. But the lack of a group that we were really looking at, and B, a lack of American citizens being injured or killed, kind of put us on the back seat after that.
Well, where can people find out about the book? It comes out on December 13th. Online, where do people go to learn?
So right now, it's the best thing to do. It's open to the public. So if you want to come to Asia Books on December 13th at 1:30 p.m. it's a Saturday, everyone's invited to come to the book launch, where I'll be there.
Central World
Asia Books. I'll be there signing books, and everyone who wants to sign a book and buy and get a signed book. It's going to be in Thailand. It'll be from December 13th on. It'll be at Asia Books. And right after that, at Kinokuniya Books as well. So every Asia Books, every Kinokuniya Books. If you're not in Thailand now listening, December 9th, a few days earlier than that, it'll be on every Amazon and in
so
America.
Ebook, Kindle-wise, or I mean just hard copy?
Kindle as well. Kindle.
Oh, excellent.
Kindle, it'll be on Kindle. The first week, it's going to be first week from December 9th for the week. It'll be 99 cents for the Kindle version.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to download it there. So yeah, it'll be on Kindle version. There'll be an audio book will come out. I was in the US last month recording the audio book. Yeah. So that'll be on wherever you get your audio books. And if you want to follow me, John Schach, JOHNSCHACH_author on Instagram is where my Instagram is everything. And then John Schach on Facebook and website, johnschacaswell.com. So that's where you can find me for all my book stuff.
You're everywhere.
I'm trying to be.
Cool. Well, John, thanks very much, man. It's very, very interesting stuff. And I'm very looking forward to reading the book. It's great.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John. Man, there's so many little tidbits of stuff that he mentioned and issues that we brought up that we could go so much deeper. You know, this question of just the perception of Thai police versus his experience with them. I mean, I know there's, he basically said this was kind of one of the main motivations for writing the book, but it's kind of fascinating, it's because both foreigners and Thai people, they just act like the boys in brown are in general useless. That's just the general opinion that everyone has. Like everyone seems to think that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I wonder if it's like you hear that all over the world too. I think police get a bad reputation, like the pigs are here, on a lot of places. But
in the States, they definitely don't have the reputation of being useless.
Well, no, they have the reputation that they're going to beat your head in for no reason.
Okay, that's true.
I'm not sure what's worse.
But And we have
yeah.
discussed this issue a little bit before. I personally have never had a problem with Thai cops. But I'm fascinated by this question, this issue of like, is their reputation really undeserved? I mean, the bottom line is I know too many stories, and actually we talked about some of it in the interview. I've heard too many stories about them just not doing their job, not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I have too, and I've heard some pretty terrible stories. But I got to say, like, I have every time I've interacted with the police, which has been a few times, traffic tickets and getting stopped on the street, pulled out of a car and checked and stuff. They have only ever been 100% polite, smiling.
Agreed. Same. Same.
Now, obviously, that's, some people get into some bad trouble. We have some very close friends of ours that have had bad experiences for not doing anything. But yeah, it is an interesting angle, and it's really interesting to get the inside track on that. I wonder what would happen if like a social experiment, if the Thai police hired like a PR person to rehabilitate the reputation of the Thai police department. I wonder what their strategy would be.
Yeah, I mean, good question. They do have a bad reputation. Of course, we have to remember that he's interacting with high-level Thai police, Royal Thai police, and they know who he is. So, being American FBI in Thailand, I think to the Thai police, this is probably a thing they look up to if they're serious police officers. And so he probably experienced the cream of the crop, or at least they're going to be on their best behavior and they're going to have their shit together around him.
That's a good point. Too, yeah. And I wonder if America sees what John does as soft power too, like building relationships with foreign law enforcement and bringing them over to America to train. Like, is that a soft power thing for America to project its culture, its influence?
I mean, it must be.
I guess it would be.
It must be. He did make the point that he did allow, or the U.S. does try to help out Thai law enforcement with their technology if they can. Presumably, the FBI has technology that the Royal Thai Police doesn't have.
Yeah, right. And he mentioned that in the interview too. Like back in the day, they had nothing.
Right.
But now they're starting to get a lot of modern stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it's beyond soft power. It's really hard power. Having American law enforcement here, working so closely with them, providing technical support, and knowing that Thailand will come to them because they need something. Yeah, I mean, it's to me it's a pretty big deal, and it's a cool job, and it's I want to read the book because I just want to see his insight, because he really seems committed to trying to correct the record about Thai cops, at least through his eyes, like in his experience.
Right. Well, I have downloaded the book actually from Kindle from Amazon onto my Kindle. So I will start reading it. And as we know, I've discussed before, I'm a very slow reader. Not that I can't read, it's just that it takes a long time to finish a book. But I'm really looking forward to it. And many thanks to John for sitting down with us again. December 13th at Asia Books in Central World, and the Foreign Correspondents Club on 21st of January 2026 to do that. And find out more by clicking on the link in our show notes. That'll take you right to his page.
Yeah, thank you, John, for sure.
All right, let's do something we call Would You Rather, where one of us picks two contrasting situations tied to Thailand to debate and choose which one we prefer. Ed, what do you got for me this week?
All right, this one's pretty straightforward, and I'm just going to say you're an eater. You like to eat. You like to stuff yourself now and then.
Now and then, yeah. What tipped you off?
And I got a question about desserts. So both you and I, we're not a huge fan of Thai desserts in general. But mango sticky rice is the exception. It's amazing. Okay,
amazing. Yeah,
but
I love it.
I was with a bunch of people, mixed Thai and foreign, and I said mango sticky rice is the best dessert ever. And one of my foreign friends, I won't mention his name, he was like, "No, it's too simple. It can't be. It's not better than a hot fudge sundae." Like a hot fudge sundae is more complex, or I don't know, but it's not even that complex. So I'm gonna give you a simple choice, Mr. Greg.
Okay.
Mango sticky rice versus a hot fudge sundae with nuts and like a cherry on top.
Hot fudge sundae, easy.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm mango sticky rice all the way.
Really? Really?
Mango sticky rice. No, it's the best dessert. I really believe it's the best. And my buddy was trying to say,
Really?
Like, it's too simple. It's not better than like French shit and Italian stuff. It's not, it's not sophisticated.
I think I know the friend you're talking about. He has a great line. He said it's impossible for Asian desserts to compete against the gun germs and steel of Western desserts.
I actually never heard that, but I think we're talking about.
No.
I think we're talking about the same person. But yeah, it's just because obviously there's killer Western desserts, and I love cheesecake and I love tiramisu and I love all that stuff. But to me, there's just something like mango sticky rice. It is the purity of it. The fact that it is simple to me is better. But you would go hot fudge sundae is what you're saying.
Hey man, I love it and I would miss it, but I would sell my family into intergalactic slavery for a hot fudge sundae sometimes. So chocolate is my absolute weakness, and I agree with our friend. The guns, germs, and steel of sugar, eggs, and flour is just too much to resist. So
yeah, the French. What it seems like, I don't know. I associate succulent desserts with the French and Italian. Like it's just so rich and creamy and sophisticated. All right, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
All right, well, we'll each be happy. I'll be there with chocolate all over my face, and you'll have the pine nuts and glutinous sticky rice sauce, whatever it is, all over your face.
All right, a final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping in our never-ending quest for cool content. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
True that. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube. Send us a voicemail through our website that we'll feature on the show. Hit me up on Blue Sky, BKK Greg. Thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll see you back here next week. Take it easy.
No doubt.
What's the old joke about recording?
I gotta pee.
Guy said,
Right outside. Make it right. Yeah.
guy said when he was recording an audiobook, he just wants an hour of like pages turning silently, and at the end he goes, "Oh, out loud."